All right, good morning, everybody. Taking a step back from fractions and decimals for a moment, hitting something that should be pretty much review at this stage. Get ready for lesson 98. We're talking about temperature. So we're breaking it right down to the basics right now. A reminder that numbers that are greater than 0 are considered the positive numbers. Numbers that are less than 0 are the negative numbers. 0 is the only number that is neither negative nor positive. And temperature is measured in degrees. So you either have to write out the word degrees or you have to give it a little degree symbol, or I will start marking it wrong on the paper. On the Socrative quiz, be careful to read the directions and input it exactly how it asks you. And it also must be labeled either Fahrenheit, just a capital F, or Celsius, a capital C. So let's go ahead and use that right now and do one like this. It says use digits and symbols to write the temperature that is 14 degrees below 0 on the Celsius scale. So 14 degrees below 0, that's a negative number, right? Living up here in North Dakota, we should know that. We're talking about negative 14. And we want to make sure we use the degree symbol. So negative 14 degrees, and the last thing is a big capital C for Celsius. Negative 14 degrees Celsius. Let's try one like this. If the temperature fell 16 degrees from the temperature shown, what would it be? Well, right now, what temperature is shown? Not too tough to read. That is reading out at 20 degrees. So it fell 16 more degrees. So we're going to go and have to subtract 16 degrees from it. 20 degrees minus 16 degrees, that's going to leave us with 4 degrees, right? And in this particular case, this thermometer does not have a label of either Celsius or Fahrenheit. I would judge looking at those low numbers, that is a Celsius grade thermometer. So let's try one like this. If the temperature shown on the thermometer is 16 degrees lower than the high temperature of the day, then what was the high temperature? Well, let's take a look. Here is 25 degrees, here's 30 degrees, and there's 5 extra lines, so each little line here is worth 1 degree. If this is 25 degrees, here's 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. So the temperature right now is 26 degrees. And it says it's 16 degrees lower than the high temperature of the day. So it has gone down 16 degrees. So if I want to find out what the high temperature was, I want to go and add on an additional 16 degrees, right? So let's go ahead and try to add. 6 plus 6 is 12. Going to write down my 2, carry my 1. 1 plus 2 plus 1 more, hey, that makes 4. Or in this case, a grand total of 42 degrees was the high temperature. Here we have one saying the high temperature for the day was 5 degrees. The thermometer shows the low temperature. That low temperature looks like it's a negative 5. And they want to know how many degrees are there between the high and low temperatures. Now, a lot of times kids would want to go and set it off as 5 minus a negative 5, but we've never subtracted negative numbers before. And some kids might get confused and think 5 minus 5 is 0. Well, here's 5. And here's negative 5. how many numbers are there in between? And if you took a look, there's actually 10 unit segments from -5 to 5. So really, a negative minus a negative actually turns it into a positive. You got to think of 5 minus -5 as really 5 plus 5. So that's going to be 10 unit segments. So how many degrees are there between the high and low temperatures? There were 10 degrees Celsius. So the high temperature in Death Valley is 134 degrees. The lowest temperature recorded is 15 degrees. Estimate the difference between the highest and lowest temperatures, and believe it or not, over 100 days of school, and I still have people trying to tell me that differences, one will be bigger than the other. Difference in math means the answer when you subtract, right? So it's all going to boil down to how we do our estimating here. And when we estimate, we want to be able to do the computations in our head. So 134 degrees, yeah, I could round it to 130 degrees, but I'm going to go and subtract 15 degrees from it. So I bet you I could round just to 135 degrees, because I should be able to start off with 135 degrees and still be able to subtract 15 degrees from that mentally, right? That shouldn't be too tough. So 135 degrees, subtract 15 degrees, looks like an estimated difference of 120 degrees. Let's try one like this. What temperature is shown on this thermometer? Well, let's take a look. Here we have 10 degrees, here we have 20. 10-degree difference, and it's cut into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal pieces. 10 degrees cut into 5 equal pieces, each one would be worth 2, right? So here would be 12 degrees. Here would be 14 degrees. Here would be 16 degrees. And here would be 18 degrees. But right now, the thermometer is halfway between 12 and 14 degrees. Well, what number is halfway between 12 and 14? That would be 13 degrees, right? So some thermometers give both Celsius and Fahrenheit temperatures. If you look here, the inside scale is your Celsius and your outside numbers are your Fahrenheit. So they are asking us what temperature is shown on the Celsius inner scale of this thermometer. So the inner scale, I'm looking here, and it looks to me like the number is 20 degrees Celsius. Here they're giving us some data, and they're asking us, what's the median high temperature for the week? And just a reminder, median is the number in the middle of a data set arranged from least to greatest. And just a reminder, we are looking at the high temperatures. So we want to go and use these numbers arranged from least to greatest. So my smallest number I have right now, I'm starting off with 33 degrees. My next smallest number, 45 degrees. Then it looks like I'm up to 48 degrees. Finally, 55 degrees. And my last number up, my greatest temperature in the high temperatures, was 58 degrees. So I got them arranged in order from least to greatest. I have 2 numbers on the left side, 2 numbers on my right side. my median, my number in the middle, would be 48 degrees. So let's try one like this. What's the mode of the low temperatures recorded? So if I'm dealing with the low temperatures, I'm looking at the bottom data set, right? And a mode is the number that occurs most often in a data set. So I have 11, 21, 0, 15, and 11. So my mode would be 11 degrees because 11 shows up most often. Remember, on modes, you can have no mode if you have no number that occurs more often than anything else. Here's one asking us, what's the range of all temperatures recorded for the week? So we are looking throughout the highs and the lows. And a reminder, a range is the difference, the answer when you subtract between the highest and the lowest number in a data set. So it looks like the highest number I have would be 58. It looks like the lowest number I would have would be 0. Pretty easy. I don't even think I needed to write this down on paper. 58 degrees minus 0 degrees would be a range of 58 degrees. And that, my friends, is the end. You're probably going to want a scratch piece of paper and a pencil for the Socratic quiz. Go slow, go careful. Good luck.
Well, that's all, folks.
That's my line.
Step aside, babe. Let a star do this. That's all!
That's all, folks.
Can I go home now?